Hello everyone, in today's video we'll be taking a look at a very new and promising DeFi platform known as Icy.Money. So what is Icy? Icy.Money is a new platform offering Hyperbonding-as-a-Service to its users. If you've been living under a rock, hyperbonding is a 4-4 concept made famous by the recent boom in DAOs across the crypto space. Essentially, staking is 3-3, bonding is 1-1, bonding plus staking is 4-4. So you might be wondering, why hyperbond? Why not just do it yourself? And the answer is simple. Unless if you don't sleep or you don't have a job, you're most likely going to miss one of the rebases. That's where Icy.Money comes in. They automate the whole process of bonding and staking, allowing you to earn more while you spend your time doing other things. At the time of recording, this service is not live yet, but they are actively working on it, and when it launches, I'll be sure to make a video on it, so stay tuned. Hyperbonding will theoretically allow users to earn 50% more in 60 days as compared to just staking alone. Another thing to note is that currently Icy.Money is a reflection token. That means that for every buy, sell, and transfer, there is a tax imposed. Currently, the tax is a whopping 21%, which is pretty high even for me. They've bumped up the ETH reflections from 12% to 14%, and I'll explain what it means in a bit for those who are unfamiliar with reflection tokens. But essentially, token holders earn rewards in ETH, and the funds to buy that ETH is coming from this tax. There's an explanation for all of the tax being imposed, and in stage 2, which is about 1 to 2 weeks from now, the tax will change. So there will be 2% tax taken to generate more liquidity, but if we've already hit that target liquidity, there'll just be a 19% tax, which is a 2% tax reduction. There's a whole bunch more that you can read, and I recommend that you do your own research and read through everything on their website and Medium. It's not very lengthy, and they've done an amazing job in explaining every detail as clearly as possible, so kudos to the team. I'll be sure to drop links in the description down below so that you can do your own research, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. So now I'm gonna explain why am I invested in Icy. Well, there are a couple of reasons, and the first start with the fact that I truly believe that there is value in this project. Now, if you're familiar with reflection tokens, they technically have no value. But for Icy.Money, there is a value proposition, and it is the fact that they are offering Hyperbonding-as-a-Service. I personally have missed a ton of rebases, and it's a pain point for me. So this is something that I would personally use. Will DAOs still exist in the future? Will we even benefit from the APY? Well, that's something that I don't really know, and we can see the DAO hype die in the past few weeks with all the rug pulls. Also, fun fact, this project is unruggable, so 100% of liquidity has been locked for a year, and you can see it in the team.finance link in the website itself. So here we can see the liquidity being locked, and I'm not sure why it says 99%, I'm pretty sure it's just some calculation error, but essentially, you don't have to worry that they're gonna rug you. And also another thing that they just announced this morning at the time of recording is that they are now doxed. So that means that they are KYC'd. So whoever is behind this project is now being held accountable. So the fact that they are KYC approved and they have their liquidity locked, that signals a huge amount of trust for investors, which makes me personally quite bullish on this project. Also, another reason why I'm invested in this project was because I got in early. So I got in when it was just at a 500,000 market cap, and right now it's sitting at 4.1 million. So the reason why I'm telling you guys all of this is because I want to be as transparent as I can to you guys, so that you know why I'm personally invested in this project and why I made a video about it. Now, I have to make it clear that everything that I'm about to say is not financial advice, and I was not paid or asked by the team to make this video. I just want to make this video so that I can share this knowledge and this project with all of you guys. And remember, only invest as much as you can lose. So at the time that I invested, which was down here, the reflections were not as much as it is right now. So obviously back then volume was very little. So reflections were not one of the reasons why I joined. But because I was so early and I saw a potential for huge amounts of price action, I decided to take a gamble. Another thing is that when I first joined, there was only a 17% tax, which was still high, but not as high as the 21% now. As time progressed, I bought more and more because the momentum on this project is just crazy. Every dump was basically eaten back up really quick, and honestly, I'm not a TA guy, but this seems pretty parabolic to me. Also, again, being transparent with you guys, I've tried selling before. I sold twice. The first was somewhere around here, and the second was somewhere around here, and I instantly regret. It just went higher and higher, and at this point, especially with the high tax, I suggest that if you do invest, try not to sell until the tax is reduced, or you've hit your target, or you're taking healthy profits, or you just need cash. And that's because we're still at a 4 million market cap and there is a huge potential for growth. I'm not saying that it will grow, I'm just saying that there is a potential for growth. So remember to take healthy profits and invest only as much as you can lose. And again, this is not financial advice, it's just my opinions, and do take it with a huge fist of salt. Now, I'll explain more about the tax and how do you actually earn from Icy. But basically, the 14% tax goes here into the pending reflection balance, and these are the funds that will be used to buy Ethereum and distribute it proportionally to us based on how many tokens you own in comparison to the total supply. So there is a max supply of 1 quadrillion tokens and there is a current supply of 1 quadrillion tokens. That means that there is no minting. So if you own 10 trillion, you basically have 1% of the entire supply. So however many ETH is purchased for the reflection at that point in time, you will earn 1% of it. The reflection purchases are made at random intervals, roughly every 2 hours, and you can see that anytime there is a small amount of Icy being sold followed by a big one, that's how you know that it's actually the contract itself performing the reflection. And here you can go over to Snowtrace just to verify that it really is coming from the contract. Now you can see that the Hyperbonding treasury balance is currently at $0, and that's because we're still at stage 1 and there are no tax being allocated into funding the treasury. But on stage 2, which is part of their roadmap, which is roughly 1 to 2 weeks from now, so by next week, I guess they're gonna start allocating 1% into the treasury. Another few things that I want to point out is that not all of the treasury funds are going to be used for hyperbonding. Roughly, I would say 50% is going to be used for the hyperbonding strategy itself, and it'll pay those profits to us, the holders of the IC token. And another portion of the treasury will be set aside to buy back more IC, to take it out of circulation and add them to the liquidity. That means that as our liquidity grows, more people can buy and sell IC without suffering such a high slippage. Another thing that I must note is that you do not need to stake IC. So all you gotta do is just buy more IC and keep it in your wallet and you'll instantly be earning reflections. Now they have included a VAPR calculator, which stands for variable APR, but basically if you were to purchase IC at this price right now, in a year, you would roughly be earning 376% in reflections alone. Now this is not taking into account any price action, so if it goes up, your overall total balance of your wallet will just increase even more. If you guys want me to do a more in-depth walkthrough on this VAPR calculator, do let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to make a video on it. Lastly, I just want to show you guys how to purchase some IC. So all you gotta do is go to the official website, scroll all the way down to the Get Started section and just hit Buy IC. So here you'll be taken to the Trader Joe website and make sure the token address matches the one that's listed on the website. Now make sure you also use 25 to 30% for slippage, and that's because it's going to take into account the tax that you're going to have to pay, and if you have any troubles buying IC, also just try adding a 0.111 at the end of the amount. So if you have more questions, you can also join their Discord. They have a great community there and the developers are almost active 24/7 answering all of our questions. So I hope you've learned a lot, and if you like this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe. and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.